Okay, everyone, you really need to hear about this. We've got our hands on a deep dive into some documents reportedly obtained from the Taliban themselves,
Hmm.
and they seem to detail how over 20,000 Afghan passports were given out, not just to anyone, but allegedly to foreign terrorists.
Right, over the course of their, what, 3-year rule?
Exactly. And this isn't just some minor issue. It potentially blows open huge questions about national security, international relations, everything.
It really does.
So our mission today basically is to unpack this, understand the scale, who was involved, and, why it matters so much.
Well, the first thing that jumps out is just the number. Over 20,000 passports. If these documents hold water, that's a lot.
It implies something systematic, doesn't it? Not just a few dodgy deals.
Precisely. A systematic effort to give official cover, potentially, to a really significant number of individuals linked to terrorist groups.
Okay, and we're not talking about lone wolves here. The source material apparently names names, or rather groups.
Yes, groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda affiliates are mentioned.
Hmm.
Also, the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP,
Mm-hmm.
and the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, the IMU, plus the East Turkestan Movement, that's the Uyghur group from China.
So these are all pretty well-known, established organizations. What's the significance of these particular groups getting passports?
Well, the significance is that these are transnational groups. They have agendas reaching far beyond Afghanistan. Giving them what looks like legitimate ID, well, it could massively boost their ability to move around.
Cross borders, raise funds, that sort of thing.
Exactly, and potentially just disappear, evade detection much more easily.
And the nationalities mentioned, it seems really widespread. People from Pakistan, China, Uzbekistan, Iran, Turkmenistan.
Yeah, and apparently over 100 from Syria as well.
It paints a picture of a potentially huge network being, well, facilitated.
It does. It suggests this wasn't just helping out one or two friendly groups, you know. It points to a potentially widespread practice that could impact security way beyond Afghanistan itself.
Let's dig into the methods, because this part is, well, it's pretty concerning. The documents reportedly say Uyghurs from China were given Hazara identities.
Yes, specifically ethnic Hazaras, and sometimes residents of places like Ghazni, Bamyan, or parts of Baghlan province. They were passed off as Sunni Hazaras.
Why that specific identity? What's the thinking there?
It's quite clever in a way. Hazaras can have distinct features, so it's a bold deception.
Yeah.
And using identities from specific regions, maybe less familiar to outsiders, makes verification harder.
Right. And it wasn't just them. Uzbek and Turkmen individuals were supposedly using identities of returning migrants.
Turning up migrants from Pakistan, yeah, with passports apparently issued from places like Farab, Sarepol, Kunduz.
And Pakistanis using Afghan Pashtun identities from the border provinces. Khost, Paktika, Kandahar, Helmand.
And even Pakistani Balak and maybe Iranian separatists getting identities as Afghan Balak from Nimruz. It all sounds very tailored.
Calculated to blend in, basically.
It seems that way. And if you think about the intelligence angle, trying to track someone whose papers point to a completely different background, ethnicity, location, it becomes a nightmare.
A massive challenge.
Yeah, definitely hinders efforts to keep track of these individuals.
Now, the source material also brings up something pretty contentious. It mentions this alleged contradiction. Taliban leaders on UN terror blacklists, but supposedly also receiving financial support from the U.S. The source kind of frames this as a transparency issue.
Well, that's a really complex point. It touches on the, let's say, often murky world of international relations and counterterrorism funding. Money flows in these situations can be incredibly opaque.
And subject to different interpretations, competing goals.
Absolutely. It's rarely straightforward.
But on the evidence front, the group that obtained these documents, the National Mobilization Front of Afghanistan, they say they have them.
Right. There's security committee or intelligence wing.
And they're apparently willing to share these documents with legitimate international intelligence agencies.
Which is a pretty significant claim. If they follow through, and if these documents can be authenticated by independent bodies.
Then it could lead to some serious international fallout. Investigations.
Potentially, yes. It would raise major questions.
Okay, so let's pull this together. What we're looking at is a report based on these alleged documents of a large-scale organized distribution of Afghan passports,
to a really diverse mix of foreign terrorist groups.
enabling them, potentially, to operate internationally under false but official-looking identities.
And for anyone listening, understanding this whole situation, It really highlights how state systems, like issuing passports, can be potentially exploited, whether deliberately or not.
Right.
It can end up helping terrorist groups move and operate, posing this huge challenge to global security.
It definitely leaves you thinking. I mean, what are the long-term consequences if this level of identity manipulation really happened on this scale, even if we get the documents?
Yeah.
How do you even start to untangle that web? And what does it mean for counterterrorism efforts going forward? It's quite a thought to grapple with.